Hi everybody. Today we're going to try to look at my Crenecichla Compressiceps, my dwarf green pike cichlid. He's kind of darting around in the front, in the back, in the front, in the back, so I'm having a hard time really getting him on video. So we're just going to hope for the best here and see what happens. If he does come out, I'll be able to get some pretty good close-ups on him. I just put some sinking granules in there, and I'm hoping he will come forward and try to get them. Right now he is just in the roots of that Anubias. I'm sorry, that's the Java fern, and he is rooting around getting little tidbits here and there. Of course my angelfish are now going to get in the way. Now if you're familiar with my videos, you know I don't really do species profiles. There's plenty of that kind of stuff available online where you can get accurate, detailed information about how to keep them, etc. I don't really do that because I've just got them in my water. I really couldn't tell you what the parameters are. I know that it's acceptable in my water, and that's about as good as it gets. I can tell you, however, a little bit about the experience of owning it. It's a fantastic fish. I really like it a lot. I don't know if that is full grown or not. I've had it for maybe 2 months now. You can see it's not huge at all. It's smaller than the shark. So when they say it's a dwarf pike cichlid, they're not kidding. The regular pike cichlids get to be, 10 inches or a foot or more. This little thing I think is supposed to top out at 4, and again does not look like it's going to get much bigger than it is now. It's just getting wider as opposed to taller, or longer rather. That is my Chinese Algae Eater. Hideous fish. They do wonders for keeping your tank clean, but they're not very friendly and they're not much fun in a community tank. They tend to scare everybody else away, and this one has actually built himself a huge burrow and has fountained up all of my substrate from the bottom, and all those rocks are now lying on bare glass because all the substrate is now on top. So that's all that Chinese Algae Eater is doing. So my cichlid is back out. This is a 55-gallon tank. It's usually recommended you put them in a 55-gallon tank. Now I suspect that is probably because of the temperament of cichlids when they're breeding, or when they even pair off and they establish a territory that they want to breed in. They will get very aggressive. I had a pair of Crenecichla in my 40-gallon African tank, and they had every single fish in that tank huddled up in one corner when they had paired off, and then when they spawned they were just viciously attacking everybody in the tank. I actually had to get them out of the tank for the sake of everybody else in there, and that included my Tenopoma and my Synodontis and my snakeskin gourami. So those little Crenecichla, as small as they are, were pretty aggressive. This guy has shown no signs of being aggressive like that. I honestly don't know if this is a male or female. I bought it thinking it was a male, but now I'm not so sure. Either way, it's a beautiful fish, and it's all academic because I don't intend to breed it anyway. So it's just going to do its thing in my tank. As far as feeding it, I've done nothing special. I do feed my tanks a variety of food. It gets shrimp pellets and flakes and sinking granules and algae wafers. I throw tubifex worms in there occasionally, and of course it's a well-established tank, and there's plenty of detritus worms and algae and other things that the fish might naturally forage for in any case. So I've never had any issue whatsoever with this fish being either aggressive or issues with feeding. You can see it's a plump little thing, so that's what's leading me to think it's female. It's got a little too much of a belly to be a male fish. My only real concern when I first put it in the tank was that the rainbow shark that's in here was going to be too aggressive. And this fish will run from rainbow shark, but when it's in the right mood it will also chase the rainbow shark. And I've seen no signs that, despite darting around and chasing it, I don't see any signs of stress on this fish at all. And when you get right down to it, it is a cichlid. They're just naturally aggressive fish. They're used to being in aggressive communities in the wild. So I don't think a little bit of being chased around by that rainbow shark is too much of an issue. And as far as the cichlid itself bothering other fish, I've seen no signs whatsoever of it doing anything of the sort to any fish in the tank. It just never bothers anybody, other than maybe a fussy little, dart at one of those tetras or something. But the other tetras do that kind of stuff, so I don't really count that as real aggression. So all in all, it's a really fantastic little fish. I wish I could get some better looks at it, but it just, never stops moving around. It's just always foraging around the tank and looking for food and doing its thing. Really, really active fish. Again, it's not a frantic fish like a Danio. I really don't like them that just constantly move around like they're just, being chased. This fish is just a very active fish. It's always doing something. It's always poking around in the corners. Honestly, I've lost it. I can't see it. Oh, there he goes. But yeah, he's a real active fish, and he's just great to have in the tank. I love sitting here watching him do his thing. Now again, he's not just floating around in the mid-water column like the angelfish do, where you can just sit there and stare at them all day long and they barely move. He's a very, very active fish. He really does spend a lot of time moving around the tank. So if you are interested in getting one, they do need a fairly large tank. They are a fish that needs a lot of running around room. Believe it or not, that is just a mixed veil I got from a big chain pet store for $4 or $5. That's an absolutely stunning, beautiful angelfish. So I have it in a 55. It's recommended usually to put it in a 55, but again, if you're just putting it in a tank as a singleton, I wouldn't necessarily worry about going all the way with a 55, but I still would recommend probably at least a 30 long or a 40 gallon, even for a singleton. If you're going to do more than that, then I would definitely go with the 55. So as you can see by this video, there's not one corner of the tank that this fish will not go into, and that's including the floating roots on the plants at the surface, flakes off the surface. It will forage around on the bottom. I've seen it burrow down into the substrate and root stuff out like a catfish. Really, really neat fish. You'll get a lot of wear out of that fish, a lot for your money. So go ahead and get one if you're interested. They are not as scary as I always thought they were. They don't seem to be as aggressive as everybody told me they were. Again, kept as a singleton. I think everybody just sort of assumes that if you're going to keep cichlids, you're going to keep either a group or you're going to keep them with the intention of pairing them off and breeding them. I have no such intention. So I have no issues with the pair off and the aggression and the breeding and all that kind of stuff. So I just have great fish in my tank. Alright everybody, I'm going to wrap that up. I feel like my voice is starting to get scratchy and I've run out of things to say. So thanks for watching this one. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're not already subscribed, please do so. I shoot a lot of these off the cuff type videos and you don't want to miss any of them. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you on the next one.